What if the most important warning sign in healthcare is the one everyone sees, but nobody connects? I keep thinking about Duxbury, Massachusetts, and the tragic story of Lindsay Clancy, a former labor and delivery nurse accused in the 2023 deaths of her 3 children, Cora, Dawson, and Callan Clancy. Clancy has pleaded not guilty. Her defense argues that she was experiencing severe postpartum mental illness, including postpartum psychosis. Prosecutors dispute that interpretation. The case remains before the court. I don't want to decide that case from a LinkedIn post. But the healthcare question underneath it is impossible to ignore. What happens when warning signals exist, but nobody connects them in time? That question also made me think about Haley Ashcombe, who developed severe postpartum symptoms after the birth of her son, Kane, in 2020. After her condition progressed, she received treatment for postpartum psychosis and recovered. These are very different stories. One is a recovery story. The other is an ongoing criminal case. But both remind us of something fundamental about healthcare. A single data point rarely tells the whole story. The pattern does. And that applies far beyond medicine. It applies to medical billing. A claim gets denied. Someone fixes it. Everyone moves on. But why did it happen? Maybe eligibility was wrong. Maybe authorization was missing. Maybe documentation didn't support the claim. Maybe the information existed, but nobody connected it. That is why I believe many practices don't really have a billing problem. They have a signal recognition problem. We keep buying more dashboards, alerts, reports, and software. Meanwhile, the answer may already be sitting in the chart, the billing system, the payer portal, or inside the head of the employee who says, "I always check this before submitting." Every practice has that person. She remembers which payer causes trouble. She knows which physician needs a reminder. She knows which claims look suspicious. She is essentially the practice's human integration engine. And when she takes Friday off, everyone discovers how dependent the organization was on her memory. That is not a technology strategy. That is a workaround. This is where I think artificial intelligence can become genuinely useful. Not necessarily by replacing people, but by helping people notice patterns sooner. Machine notices. Human thinks, machine searches thousands of claims. Human applies context. Machine identifies a recurring problem. Human decides what to do about it. That is the future I find much more compelling. Because healthcare doesn't necessarily need more information. It needs better connections between the information it already has. So here is my question for physicians and clinic owners. What problem keeps happening in your practice that everyone has learned to work around, but nobody has actually fixed? Tell me in the comments. And if another physician or clinic owner needs to rethink that problem, repost this and start the conversation. Because the best denial isn't the one your team fixes quickly. It is the one your practice learns to prevent.